Okay, so we're good on YouTube, or on Twitch, and YouTube is up now too. Good. So, hey everybody, this is Will from Productions², and we are back to do some more streaming. Gonna be working on OV tonight. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna try and figure out why. Well, I know why it's crashing. We're gonna try and fix it so it doesn't crash. But that whole system that I created to try and display details and whatnot, we're going to change it a couple ways. First of all, we're going to make it so that it's on click instead of hover. On hover has a lot of issues in terms of because there's like other things around it. There's like it's not just a button. There's like stuff on top of it, and it's causing some kind of issues, making things flicker when it really shouldn't. So we're going to make it be on button click instead of on hover. And then we're also going to set it up so that we try and open it in a contained window instead of like how it's being displayed now. So we're essentially going to try and re-engineer it a bit and see if we can't fix that problem in the process. Somehow it's an issue with the utils function or utils blueprint reference going null or getting destroyed by the garbage cleaning for some reason. But we will deal with that when we get to it. One thing I did is I've created a new class. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that hello world thing. I was making a tutorial for... So I managed to talk one of my clients into using Unreal Engine for their gaming engine for something they're working on, and I was doing a small tutorial for them on how to do all this stuff with custom C++ classes. So I need to get rid of that. Let's see. I'm going to go to classes and that one. Okay, isn't there not a way to delete it? No, it just goes to there. What the hell? So can you not delete a class once you create it? Maybe you can't. Oh, I guess it'll stay there for now then. Let's close this. So I created this item details class that's gonna hold a bunch of the data. Instead of trying to like shove it through all those weird and insane get functions from the where is it? And really this should be bigger. Inventory tile grid or graph rather, and then instead of like doing it like this, I actually had fixed it up from before and I didn't save it. So again, I think I mentioned this before, but if you compile it but you don't save it, anything you change does not get saved. I have no clue why save when compiling is not enabled by default, but it isn't, so make sure that if you don't want to have that situation happen where if the editor crashes and you don't want to lose anything, make sure you toggle that on. Again, it's underneath here, save on compile. I guess on success only, because that would be a little, that's in between, I guess. That way it's going to save only when you're able to run. But yeah, so I had gone through and I had made this much cleaner looking and all kinds of stuff, and it took me about 20 minutes to do, and then I didn't save it, crashed, and we're back with this mess. It didn't work, you know, it didn't fix what was going on because it's in here somewhere, but it made this way less insane in terms of like the all the pins and connections and whatnot. So I'm gonna go and try and redo that here. Yeah, I didn't keep the other stuff too, so let's see. We need to add a new variable called And details, it's going to be the item details object that I created. Okay. Now, see, first thing I want to do is I want to grab all this junk and just, nope, don't want to do that. I do want to do this. And I want to reposition these. Just ordered a new keyboard. We'll see how that works out. But so this keyboard I have had it for quite a while. I actually took off all the keys and cleaned it out entirely last. I think it was on Wednesday, and it was crazy dirty. But keys are still sticking and doing weird things. So I think this keyboard's probably just about had it. That and the A and S keys, the E key, and a few others. I've started, the actual paint started to like wear off because I type on it so much. So I decided to get a new keyboard. I'm gonna go with I decided to go with the Corsair keyboard this time. Mainly because I wasn't very impressed with what Logitech has available at the moment. With the what was it? Premium something, whatever the latest one was. Yeah, this one, the K95 Platinum. I mean, I don't really use the G keys anymore that much, I've noticed. And I don't really need, that many of them. There's still some G keys on here, but I'm not sure if it'll be smaller or not. It looks, well, it's hard to tell from this. If it's definitely will be smaller in terms of like an inch or so because it only has one row of keys. So I think it'll be a little bit smaller than this, and there's no LCD thing on it either. So. For now, that's what I'm going to do, though. Let's use that Corsair. So Logitech has some work to do to get me back as a customer, at least for the keyboards. Nothing they had really was very inspiring to me. Let's see, I'm going to try and get this as compact as possible. Okay. So that looks okay there, I think. Now we've got to go about this whole process. This is very interesting and fun trying to set it up, and I'm saying that uber sarcastically. So the first thing we need to do now, though, is we're going to be changing how all these go. So there's an extra step in between now because we need to bring this in. Speaking of that, we had with that in the notes to actually use that. So I would actually probably have to go in. Okay, this one I'll have to come down here. So yeah, so create object. Class is going to be the Minor details. Cast to item details. And then we're going to pull this off. Actually, yeah, never mind. That's going to go on the bottom too. So we have to do a set. Alright, then we'll need to bring this in as a get. Alright, so. So I'm going to get the name. So we're calling index. Just trying to figure out if this is actually really necessary. I mean, I think it would be. Alright, before we go doing this, I want to see if we can make this work without doing this. So I don't have to add in extra stuff we don't need to. Now I'm thinking about it. If we can figure out why utils isn't working, we won't have to do that, which will save a lot of nodes here. I'll have to clean up all this mess as well. It's doable, it just takes a bloody long time to get everything going. So, this is the part that I'm not really understanding why it's not working. Other than that, maybe we need to store it as a variable or something within the class. So I did check if the cast was successful or not, and it was. It never went in through cast failed. Utils, looks right. Unless this is some other utils that's not the one that we created. That's interesting. Say none. So yeah, it's the blueprint. Yeah, it's the one who created utils. I'm going to assume that's also the correct utils. So I don't think there is any other utils based on that. We also have two different versions of this. I'm not exactly sure why. Oh, one of them is for the item image, one of them is for the detail image. That's why. Right. One of them gets the item details image, which is going to be a smaller, different type of image. Well, it is smaller, and for right now, it's going to be different. But once we get everything figured out, I'm actually going to use the same image and just scale it down for the detail image. So actually, we probably will get rid of the of this one eventually. Alright, so I want to bring this up. I'm actually going to just put it like kind of center, sort of. Make it a bit easier to work with that way. Alright, and now all the fun fixing of all these lines and whatnot. That, and I'm fed up with the Logitech gaming software. That's the other thing that's really turned me off of Logitech recently. Just can't seem to get their software team just can't seem to get their crap together. Alright, so that's all the pins, the execution pins are done now. Now we need to do all this crap. Alright, so last time I went above and below. This time I was going to go below because it's all going to go through here. Well, some of them will go over, that's true. Some of them still will go over. So I got to figure out which ones those are. Been rewatching Mr. Robot. It's really an interesting series. This one will go down. That is still not quite. Yeah, there we go. It doesn't look straight for whatever reason. Well, because I wasn't. Alright. I want to try and keep these going along these paths. That way it's a little more clean looking. Let's see. So now we got all these things to deal with. You know, I'm not going to put them on them just because it's going to hide those lines. Ah, come on. So I'll put them near them, but not... on top of. It'll still look semi-clean, but It'll be a little bit more legible as to where things are going and what they're for. Hopefully. How the hell am I going to do this one? This one's like going the wrong direction here. Jeez. I mean, I guess it kind of works. Maybe once we get all the rest of these sorted out. I guess, yeah, there's other ones that are going to go that way too, aren't there? I guess it'll make sense that way. Getting this 100% clean is not going to be possible. Which sucks, but it is what it is. Actually, maybe what we can... stop dragging on the pins. Damn it. There. No. There. Maybe we can... What we can do is... Okay, so if it goes that way... Okay. Maybe we can take these up over the top. That's just kind of weird. Oh, because it wasn't, yeah. Maybe center it a bit here or something, and then we can have them peeling off to wherever they need to go to. That way we're not having this whole... Actually, don't need those nodes. Okay, I think I really screwed that up. Alright, undo. Did not get so far, so that'll work. Alright. Okay, so same thing with these down here. So anything that's that would be going like across stuff like this, we're gonna peel it back up here and then take it down and do whatever we need to that way. If there's no way to go cleanly, like if it's going down another level, just because I don't have to have things going across the execution pins. Set a local variable that you use in a function to make it cleaner. As for what I'm making, it's a tech demo showcasing a bunch of different features for a game called Distant Void that I'm working on. So we gotta go down another level. Right about here. Okay, that works. I'll try and keep them as consistent as possible so it looks better that way. Because it will look better that way. As far as the local variable thing, I mean, it could be cleaner. At the same time, though, if you're using a local variable, you're adding extra steps to the execution. So it just depends. If you want to look super uber clean, you don't really care about the number of execution steps, then you can use local variables. It also depends on the number of variables. Like for this, there's would be like 8 or 9 of them. Where's that one? That's down here. I was going to store everything in an actual variable containing a reference to a class, custom class created, but then I got to thinking just now, that's really, again, adding way too many steps. And it's not really, this stuff isn't the problem. The problem is this damn create and cast utils. For some reason this isn't working correctly. Because we're getting over to here, it's hitting this, and I guess the target is null or something, or somehow it's not connecting the two things together. The reference of this to the actual utils blueprint. And it might be because there's no utils blueprint in the map. I don't know. And that would make sense, I guess, potentially. Well, yes and no. I mean, you should be able to create an instance of a blueprint without it existing, because basically you're creating an actor, if you will, dynamically in that case. Maybe that is what's going wrong with this. Maybe for instance. Create object using blueprint. And I missed the U there. Blueprint node, create object from blueprint. Construct object from class. This one seems interesting, but in 4.9, Epic added a new blueprint node to do this called construct object from class, which is what we're using, I believe. Well, create. Let me see if there's a construct. Spawn a new object. So this is different. This one is. Pawn responsible for damage caused by this actor. So I'm going to throw this down here this time. I'm just going to bypass that create. We're going to use this construct details instead. Let me go ahead and save this. We'll compile it. What do we need? Outer object is required. Oh, okay, so you're basically creating an actor. Well, damn. I guess we'll just give it something for now. Cannot construct types, objects of type. Okay, so it's not going to work with that. Okay. So much for that idea. So instance of a blueprints. And a blueprint. Ah, crap, there's no attached image. Alright, zoom in. So begin play is valid, spawn actor. I mean, maybe we just make it a function of the tile or something instead of a utility thing like that. I mean, I'd have to duplicate it for the inventory window, but I mean, if I have to do that, I have to do that. I'd rather have it in one place, access it from both places, both spots to there, but if I have to duplicate it, I have to duplicate it. C++. Like I said, I think it's got to be related to trying to create an instance of a blueprint. Every other time we've used the create object function, it's been to create a custom C++ object. This time we're trying to create a blueprint that I have. So I'm wondering if that's the reason why. So instead, let's do this. It's going to be crazy annoying, but if we have to do it this way, we have to do it this way. Alright, so Now with the other one, that was the, yeah, this one. So input is going to be the item name, and output's going to be the slate brush. And of course, we'll need to... Actually, we don't need to even return it, do we? Since it's in here. Well, we still need to do this. But we don't have to have a return parameter. We just can set it to a local variable. So I want to create a copy of this. Can I do this on all of them? Perfect. No, it didn't work. Damn. Okay, I gotta do everyone individually. Epic needs to make this so you can do multiple things on nodes at the same time, or things on multiple nodes at the same time. It's like changing all these to this new variable that we just created. For example, 701 at a time. It's kind of annoying. Okay. We'll get rid of the return, so we don't need that. Return parameter. Alright, so we have that. Go back over to show details pane. Get rid of this. Get rid of these. And instead we want to have our get item image, target self. We will need the item name, which helpfully is way the hell up here. And then we'll grab this as a get. Alrighty then. Now we gotta deal with all the return value lines here. So what I did with these last time was I picked a point at the edge of the last, the furthest one over, so it'd be this one, somewhere in there. Actually, even a little bit further over because you want to be able to bring this one up to here, like that. And then basically from here threw them all into this function over here. It's not going to be quite as clean as it was last time, but not much I can do about that. Still going to look light years better than what it did before all this. Nope, I don't want that one there. Damn it, I want this one. Okay, actually we can bring this one out a bit more. Same with this one. Still a little bit busy. Well, we still got a few of these to do, don't we? I completely forgot about a few of these. Alright, let's go ahead and get those set up as well. Oh, interesting. If you hold down both the mouse buttons, you can actually zoom in that way. That's kind of annoying. Well, I don't want to do it, but I'm going to have to. I'm going to try and keep these separate from each other. For readability's sake. This is the kind of stuff that's probably more suited for a C++ class, but I don't want to spend the time trying to figure out how to make all this work out of a C++ class, like how to create a slate brush and whatnot in a C++ class. So we're going to do it this way. We got one more, I think, and this will be done. Looks a hell of a lot cleaner than it did. Still looks kind of crazy, but it's controlled chaos now instead of just absolute chaos. Okay. Actually, we can also bring this up a bit. Oh, we have one other thing we have to do. I almost forgot about that one. Okay, so I think that's everything now. Nope, one more. There's always one more somewhere. Now I think that's everything. On this side. On this side, not so much. Need to do a little bit of fixing here. It's not nearly as bad. So this doesn't look quite level. Now it does. Ah. Bring that in a little bit. Alright, so more compact. Okay. So now I'm going to go over to here real quick. We're going to throw a breakpoint here. And I'm just going to go to one of these. I really don't want to throw a breakpoint on every single one of these. Put a breakpoint here, I guess, and we'll see what the what this value is. We'll do a watch on this. All right. So iron ore, yeah, Fe is the one we went into. Iron ore, yeah, okay, looks like it's working. Let's go ahead and disable all breakpoints. Well, it was showing the right thing. As you can see all the flickering and whatnot. It was showing the right one, but it's loading the OS image still. Still got something wrong somewhere, but we'll figure it out. At least this part's working. At least this part's working now, so we know that's working. Now we got to figure out the rest of it. Oh, it's gonna crash, isn't it? Yep. And this is what I was talking about. So actually, it's not related to that then. It's got to do with something else. Interesting. Again, I think it has to do with the hover. It's just there's too much stuff happening at once, and at some point it's getting invalidated. So what can we do about that? I guess the first step is to make it on a button click of the button instead of on hover, and see what that does. Eventually what we'll probably want to do is well, I don't know if we can just try to think of different ways we can do it, because like eventually I want to be able to have there be like a control or a shift click on an item image to be able to split it, or to split it into different stacks and whatnot. Like in other words, if you have like a stack of 20 items, you want to split it for some reason, allow you to be able to like shift click on it to do that, or just drag and drop to restack them or whatnot. eventually. It's not going to be in this tech demo, version of the tech demo for now, but eventually that's what I want to have happen. So let's go back to blueprints, rather not there. Content UI, inventory tile. Go to graph and to event, I believe. Yeah. So on mouse enter, instead of enter, we're going to say, so on mouse click. So how do we determine when it's done now? Maybe the other way to go about it is try and figure out why it's crashing for. Let's see. So is this from now when it was loading, or is this from every time we've had it running? Wish there was a timestamp somewhere I could look at and see, oh, okay, that's when that ran. So that's like from when it crashed last time. But no, it looks like this is something else. Warning, can't find third person, whatever. No, this is just from loading. Tools, no. Ah, come on. So I'm not sure if it's in here or out in the main UE folder. Should be like a crash. Actually, might be able to open it through TextPad. So saved crashes. Well, that's interesting. That's not from any time recently. Oh, wait. Sandbox. That's why. Dirt. Alright, 426 is tonight. So, there we go. There's a log. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Log blueprint error. Cannot construct object from class. That was from the compiler. Cannot call on real script visibility binding. Well, stopped at a breakpoint. So that's when I had the breakpoints going. And then there's nothing after that, though. Very helpful. Not. It's definitely a read memory access error, read access error. I'm trying to figure out if it's showing where it actually happened at, though. If there's an indication of like what blueprint caused or what particular node caused it. So core object editor, editor slate, kernel. So I mean, it says slate in here, so maybe it has something to do with the image, the slate brush somehow. Yeah, so it looks like it's something to do with the UMG, then slate, and then it goes from slate to, well, back to the editor, then to the kernel, and NTDLL. So somehow maybe we are trying to set a slate brush instance variable that's part of a instance of a thing that doesn't exist anymore. I don't know. What about the dump? Usually these don't give you much information at all, really. Thread tried to write from virtual access which does not have appropriate access. So yeah, access violation. Render core, shader core. Strike time. See if we can find anything that might give a hint as to what exactly is causing this. Like insertion is crashing. Oh, there is a log file. So backup log. Unhandled exception. So yeah, this is after. So this is what was in the other one, and after this breakpoint nonsense, because we turned off the breakpoints, we had a fatal error. Log windows, fatal error, access exception, access violation. Interesting, unknown function. That's interesting. So it's maybe the. So maybe somehow it's. So what we're doing with this, we're running through all this stuff. Where are you? We're using the item index. So we're calling using the item index value from the tile we're over. And we're passing that into this get item at tile index class from the inventory function from the inventory class. So are we somehow passing through a value that doesn't exist? Hence the access violation, because we're trying to access. So, though still, if that was the case, it would be thrown back a. Okay, so. Otherwise, we're sending back a -1. But then that should be this, because we're actually creating a -1. And we're returning it. No item found. True, though, we're not handling a. If we go back over here, we're not handling a default on that switch. So we're trying to, so maybe that could be it. We're going into here. Theoretically, this should still be set though. Theoretically. To whatever was, unless it's like something that wasn't set before, that could be the case. I think what we need to do is mention we need to have something for this to hit, I think. This might be why. We have nothing being set up for the default. So, well, that's what we're saying, the width too. The actual file size is file resolution is a bit different. Sandbox, content, images, 222 by 184. Okay, new 222 by 184. And we're just gonna make this like a, you know, like a no file found kind of thing or something. So what we need is need the ellipse tool. We need to do a well, we can do whatever we want to do. I want to do a no fill. We want to do a stroke. We'll figure out the stroke later. I'm not sure why it's lines for though. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Somehow I had it set to. I don't know. It was just that's weird. Somehow I kind of screwed up one of the brushes or something. I think maybe was what happened. I was trying to do something interesting and somehow I got one of these brushes stuck to a stamp tool or something, stuck to some weird texture. Anyway, so we have this. Let's go ahead and increase this a little bit actually. And then we'll go to the line tool. It should create a new image layer from it anyway, but so where was that at? There's a setting somewhere for the arrowhead. Where the hell is it? Corners, line, dashed, no, it's not there. Line edges. Ah, there it is. So I'll have to recreate it. It's fine by me. And we'll need to modify this. Well, that's certainly not working. Oh, it's... No, it's still not... Huh. Ah, there we go, wait. Jeez. Okay. That's kind of close. I want to go a bit more, though. Wait, what did we use on this? 15.93. Let's just call it 16. Obviously, that'll be behind it. Kind of like that. Yeah, it looks pretty good actually. Alright, so save this as a, well, yeah, Photoshop. And I'm gonna need to go find it. Oh, it's on F. That's where it's at. Duh. Sandbox, content, images, yeah. No item. Save it as a PNG. Alright, now we need to import that. But yeah, it should be in UI, I think. Miscellaneous. So you can use it for all kinds of stuff. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now let's create this again. No item, texture, defaults. Oh, we need to do another set too. Yeah. So defaults. Okay. I'm not sure if that will fix it or not entirely, but I'm hoping it does. It's got to do something with it passing in a value that's not, it's not expecting and not handling, and then when we try to set the slate brush, since it's null, potentially it's causing an error. So we'll see what that does. What's interesting though is it happens after it's been running for a while. Like if I just stop doing anything, then I go back over to here. Or maybe it's when it goes into the debug or something. It always seems to happen when I'm going into the debug, like if I'm debugging the blueprints. At least that's when I can get it to happen most reliably. It's actually not so bad in terms of the hovering right now. You can kind of see how it still flickers a little bit, but there we go, finally. So That definitely wasn't it. Let's go ahead and load this up as the debug editor. And I want to put a breakpoint in here and see if... Well, let's put it this way. If we do it this way and it crashes somewhere in the engine code, we'll be able to see it and get a little bit more information from it. Maybe. I still think it has something to do with the hover. Maybe somehow it's switching so fast between things it gets confused or something. I don't know. Hey, we'll need to find out. And this is what happened last time. Output. So found the create virtual memory for PCH. VC toolchain CS. Interesting. So that was in what, 15? Still might work. 'VC toolchain CS. See if there's anything else in here. By who? Kyle Langley. Unless I am going blind, there's no Kyle Langley. Unless it's this user and the username changed or something. VS binaries. Already saved. Okay, let's try regenerating the files then. So, VS binaries. Crap. Oh, there's no build folder in this one. Well, VS binaries, intermediate saved. And the project. Oh, skip. I don't really know why they want you to delete the saved for. That's for... As far as I know, it's not generated by the Visual Studio. It's by the engine, the editor itself. Alright, let's get the project files built again. It's like Microsoft's answer to fix everything and restarting the computer. The answer to fix most things with Unreal is regenerate the project files. Okay, so we get this thing built in the debug mode. Ever since I put in, did that Hello World class, I've been having issues building sometimes. It might be because the Hello World class, I had to save it weirdly because I have some Chinese characters and whatnot in there for the test. Alright, let's see what happens now. Just seems like it's really easy to break the compiler, the Unreal header tool. Damn it. Now the Hello World test has an issue. And we still got that failed to create virtual memory. Oh, the other one went away. I guess it finally found it. We still got this friggin' stupid issue. So binaries 164 DLL. Trying to figure out where we'd find that at. Or is it in the properties? It kind of looks like a property flag. ZM. So we're looking for. I don't think it's going to be in these. got to be somewhere else. That one is compiler limit, internal heap limit reached. Let's see. Oh, this is that same one, isn't it? Compiler options. It's not so much compiler, but it does nmake. Project settings, custom build, commands, like this error. Okay, yes, that's the same thing. So there is no like custom build. So UE4 EC 2017 VS 2017. And keep on saying VC toolchain, where the frack's it located at? Oh, engine source programs, Unreal, build tool. So all I have is the UHT, Unreal Header Tool. There's no Unreal Build Tool, unless this is what it's supposed to be, which I doubt. So, engine, source, programs, and blah. So maybe we have to go to the actual file location for oh, there it is. All it's in here is a friggin' log. Awesome. Failed to produce item. So maybe it's in the project folder then after all. Or not. Nope. So I already tried that once. I wonder if they got rid of the build tool or stuck it somewhere else. The compiler version under edit project settings platforms tool chain. Let's try doing this. That's from 2014. Well, it's just got Unreal Engine in the title. Okay, let's do crap. Let's do a search for it. I bet you anything it doesn't even find it. Which could be a reason why. Oh, there it is. Well, where the hell's it located at then? Source programs, under build tool, platform windows. What the hell? I even went there. UV4. Epic Games. Well, that's just a different place entirely. So UV4, Epic Games, Engine Source Programs, and Build Tool. Oh, Source, duh. Programs, Build Tool. Tool chain, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay, so let's go ahead and text pad it. And we're looking for Z. What the hell was that flight called? Yeah, not that one. ZM. Okay, so oh, this is the wrong one. That's why. Part is the problem. What's VC toolchain. $750, $850. Visual CPP. Really? Seriously, you're going to do it that way? Oh, maybe it's because it's open. Nope, it's definitely read-only. Okay, I wonder if we have to regenerate the files or something for that to work. Maybe not. It should just work automatically, I think. Because if you look in these files, there's no... Yeah, the Unreal Engine's like 4-something gigabytes. And this is only 1.8, so it links, the linker's linked into those folders, so it should be fine. Let's see if that works or not. And I notice it's only happening with the debug. Well, probably because that's through the PCH headers on debug. That's why. Or there's some sort of special symbol thing or something. Wait for this thing to finish parsing the files. It's gonna take a while. What did you do all Friday night? I did battle with the friggin' Visual Studio, well, the Unreal compiler, really. So what's crashing is the build tool, so it's the Unreal build tool. I have no clue why this just started happening. Like I said, it happened after I added that Hello World program. So I don't know if you can only add a certain number of classes, which would be stupid, or if somehow when I did that, it fracked things up. I don't know. All I know is that after I did that, everything went to hell, and then I had to regenerate the files, and now it's still happening. So I may need to make a new project. Which is going to suck, because I have to bring all that other crap over, but it is what it is if I have to make a new one. I think I'm probably going to wait till later, maybe later this year, sometime towards the end of it, or maybe the beginning of next year, to build a new system, because AMD's coming up with a new video card platform, graphics card platform, and I don't want to get stuck with Vega and then have that come out, because Vega, from all accounting, Vega's been pretty lackluster. I don't want to switch to NVIDIA because I'm not a Vulcan, so. I mean, the cards I have probably would be fine. It's just that there's no way I'm going to fit my custom cooling loop instead of a... I'm not even sure if I'm going to do a micro case anymore. I mean, I like to do it that way, but I'll have to do a lot more research and figure out what exactly I can fit into it. So it would be nice, though, to get like a micro ATX form factor. I can just stick it on this computer desk somewhere and then not have to worry about where to stick my other two massive full towers. Where are we on? So about 80% done. If this doesn't work and we still got that error, I'm just gonna go ahead and stop the stream for OV, and we'll go ahead and do some another easy run on Risk of Rain 2, and I'll see how far I can push it. So I kind of screwed up last night by interacting with that, whatever the hell that shrine was. Shouldn't have done that. So it totally just friggin' owned. Kind of sort of trolled me, took all my stuff away. Yeah, if this doesn't work, then I'm just gonna make a new project file and our new Unreal Engine project and move everything over, which is going to be a nightmare because I'll have to do a bunch of copying and pasting, resetting up of things, which can be better done off stream than on it, because that's going to take at least an hour and a half probably. Or I may just decide that's not worth the trouble for the moment, since we're at the end of the month, and I'll just kind of excise that from the tech demo for now, and we'll have the what's actually in there now for the tech demo without that details panel. Okay, almost done. Scanning for additional... Oh, Jesus. Seriously? Oh, at least this is going a bit faster. Scanning for additional files, because we don't want to do that stuff at the same time. That'd be too efficient. So some grand old Microsoft built-in inefficiency here. And we gotta parse some more files. Ooh, I just saw Niagara in there. Interesting. So it looks like the Niagara files are already in there. It's just they haven't implemented it into the editor yet. Interesting. Niagara is going to be what's going to replace the Cascade particle system, or particle editor. I'm not sure if Cascade is something they made or something they licensed from somebody else, from another company. But they said, I guess the general idea was Cascade was getting way too convoluted, and they wanted to make, get something new in there. Something a bit more streamlined and easier to use. Should be interesting. You would think it'd be a lot faster on this system. I think that drive it's on needs to get defragged. I still haven't done that yet. And it's a WD black drive, so it should be super high performance. You wouldn't know it by how long this is taking, though. Jeez. So we got about 100 more to go until we figure out if we have another round of scanning for more additional files. And yes, we have some more. Okay, you know what? Screw the parsing. I'm just gonna try building this thing, and whatever happens, happens. Hey, it worked. Holy crap. I did not expect that to work. Cool. Now I gotta wait for it to load everything, and it's probably loading things as it's parsing them or something. Oh well, at least it's at least it built. I did not really expect that to work. It's one of those things where you're like, it's from a long time ago. It's probably not going to work because they probably changed something somewhere. Nope. At least not in this case. Just now I gotta wait for it to finish frigging parsing so I can load all the damn symbols. So we're kind of still stuck, you know, waiting for this thing to hurry the hell up. Alright, let's see if we can cause this thing to crash out and... Some of those cases where it just seems like it takes a little bit of time for it to crash. Like that other one. I forget exactly what it was. It was a similar issue that we're getting an access violation error because at some point something was not loading correctly, and I forget exactly what it did to fix it. I think I had to redo something though, like the logic on it or something. I can't remember if it was a blueprint or if it was in the actual code though. It could also be that when we're doing this, it's not unloading something somewhere and we're like running out of memory, which I don't think would be the case, but I mean, it's possible, I suppose. Okay, there we go. So, access violation error. Let's look at the call stack. Yes, it's definitely like inside of the core thing here, so it's not like we're going to be able to really figure out where it's at. Cannot find or open the PDB file. That's something else. So, blueprint message, player editor detection level, blah, has blueprint level script blueprint, blah, with generated class, blah, with class generated by, blah. Thread exit with code 0. Let's see. Maybe we'll get lucky and this exact error message will show up somewhere. Okay. Well, that really wasn't too useful. Probably didn't generate a crash log because I guess we can check though. Yeah, no, I didn't. Logs though. No. So it's definitely an access violation error. Look at the last crash. Which was this one? Alright, that's not gonna... That's like a compiler or something for that map check. Yeah, that's not going to help. So actually, we were in logs before, right? Yeah, unknown function. So let me see. Access violation, unknown function. That's got to be a translation error somewhere. A problem engine files. Let's see, another error log that helps try to fix the door for me. Set action reload call on broken blueprint. Fix all errors in editor until restart of the editor. Game works correctly. Let's try to package and restart the editor. Huh. I mean, there's still some like things in here that indicate where it's coming from. On this one, it's just, you know, straight unknown function all the way through. So, but it looks like it's definitely related to the slate. Because again, we're going to slate UMG, then UObject, core UObject DLL. So, well, we're not calling that thing anymore, custom thing. Well, actually, yes, we are. We are calling the inventory function is somehow the. I wonder now. Let me rebuild this as non-debug. Actually, I don't need to rebuild it. I just need to start it. There. Ah, bloody hell. Alright, let's see if it opens now. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so I'm wondering if maybe somehow, for whatever reason, the inventory object instance on the ship is becoming invalidated somehow. Because if you look at the error log, if I bring it back up here, it says kernel, editor, user, editor, application core, slates, UMG, core UE4 quarter UE4 editor core U object. So at this point, it's trying to access a U object somewhere. Now, what I'm wondering is this related to it getting the ship somehow? I really wish there was a way to do like conditional breakpoints in here on the blueprints, so we could look and see if somehow the ship or the ship cargo is becoming invalidated somehow. But I do not think that is possible. So target ship. So UI, well, let's, what the hell? Okay, this is weird. So for each loop, each UIBP array element, which is the UIBP to target. Oh, target because we want to get the ship from it. From the UIBP. Here's the thing though, we're updating it here. But does that mean over here? Because this is earlier in the chain than that is. So I'm wondering if we have to do this somehow down here. I mean, we're getting a pointer to it using this, so it should be fine. It should get automatically updated whenever something changes over here. So we call it cargo, so I want to put a breakpoint here. Let me see, is there anything I can do a conditional breakpoint? UE4. So a couple people that ask about it, but there's like it's gonna get messy. I code there for iterate. Guess there's not a way to do it. Damn. It's the exact same damn thing. I guess we could do a so it's valid. If not, let's see if we can get to trigger onto there. Maybe then we'll confirm suspicions. Somewhere, somehow, at some point, there's a pointer somewhere that gets fracked over and it's causing this crash. So every time we hover over this, it's calling this whole line of code, this whole line of blueprint. So I mean, it's not hard to see how it could get screwed up, because if you're like going over these really quick, and it's like going to be processing it, but at the same time, at some point, somehow, it's invalidating something. Nope. So it's not the ship that's causing the problem. Well, I'm going to have to do more digging in onto that outside of the stream. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'll stop streaming for a moment so I can allow the current streams to close out, and then we'll switch over to Risk of Rain. And we'll try another easy run with that. So I will be back probably in about 2 minutes.